Good afternoon. I'm pleased to join Senate President Pro Tem Steinberg to unveil the modified California jobs budget, a creative alternative to the Republican budget plan that would saddle Californians with more than 400,000 lost jobs and result in California having the worst unemployment rate in the nation. The California jobs budget reflects the principles that the Pro Tem and I laid out last month, and our focus remains squarely centered on job creation and job retention. Over the last several weeks, you've seen the Republican leadership and the governor go out of their way to attack the mechanics and the process of our plan. But let's be absolutely clear. They are attacking the process because they're unable to impeach our commitment to jobs, and they certainly can't defend the fact that the governor's plan leads to a devastating level of job loss. In the last 7 months since Governor Schwarzenegger unveiled his first budget plan, legislative Republicans have been AWOL. They're deliberately prolonging the process and causing real suffering to score cheap political points, and it's reprehensible behavior that needs to stop immediately. We could have a budget done in 5 minutes if they were willing to come to the table with something more than simple Republican Party talking points. Democrats have been acting responsibly, and we've put forward a plan that reflects the urgent needs of California, not the dictates of party bosses. We have implemented the most open and transparent process in recent memory. We've held over 100 hearings, inviting testimony from every conceivable community impacted by the budget. Assembly Democrats held budget forums throughout California. We went to places like San Diego and Palm Springs, Fresno, and Albany, and invited Californians to both learn about the nature of our budget problems and the various plans to solve them. More than 1,900 Californians attended these forums. They participated in an interactive segment operated by Next 10, a nonpartisan budget institute. Their preferences were overwhelming and consistently clear. Californians value education, we value jobs, we value the safety net for the poor, the sick, and the elderly. We recognize that in these difficult times, painful sacrifices are required by everyone, especially those who've been asked to sacrifice the least. I want to add that the results of the interactive demonstrations are consistent with every public poll on the budget. In fact, a recent field poll shows that 79% of the public, including almost 2/3 of registered Republicans, oppose cutting education to balance the budget. The California jobs budget absolutely reflects the values and priorities of Californians. From the beginning of this process, we've consistently maintained that any responsible budget must meet 3 clear tests. First, it must reflect the values and priorities of the people of California. Second, it must be crafted so that we make decisions that do not do further harm to the economy, most visibly through devastating job losses. Finally, the budget process must be open and transparent, because in these difficult times, the people of California have every right and expectation to know the decisions that their leaders are making. Now, certainly we've been meeting privately. Every business person in the state understands that when you're engaged in complex negotiations, private discussions are integral to rendering an outcome. What we've consistently said is that every plan would be put through the public committee process, and the jobs budget will be sent to the conference committee for public scrutiny. Both Senate and Assembly Democrats unveiled budget plans in response to the governor's job-killing budget announcement in May. We demonstrated that there are realistic alternatives to avoid devastating job losses and cuts to education. Certainly, the original Assembly plan was subject to much scrutiny for how creative our approach was. But because we committed to a public process, we were able to have a thorough discussion about every aspect of both the Assembly and Senate plans and identify areas of concern. That gave us a clearer understanding of what kind of approach we needed to be able to bring realistic solutions and ultimately result in the jobs budget we're announcing today. Our plan is predicated on our commitment to jobs, and we dedicate funding to help small businesses create thousands of new jobs. We understand that imposing tax increases on working families will hurt recovery. So we generate revenue through two alternatives. First, we close a loophole that allows oil companies like BP to drill in California for free. Second, we delay tax breaks for massive corporations that haven't even taken effect yet. And I might add that these tax breaks were extracted in secret as part of backroom budget deals in the Big Five. These corporate giveaways are a case in point for why we're insisting on openness and transparency in the process to avoid cutting these secret backroom special interest deals. The jobs budget implements needed tax reform that brings stability to our revenues, decreases the net tax burdens for Californians at every income bracket, and provides a shot in the arm for Californians' merchants and manufacturers. This is a plan that every Californian can and should support. It reflects the core values of Californians and makes decisions that will help rather than hurt the economy. It keeps 430,000 Californians working and will help small businesses create more jobs. It doesn't impose broad-based taxes, and most importantly, it rejects the Republican slash-and-burn approach to education. I'm confident that once the California jobs budget has been thoroughly and publicly reviewed, the people of California will understand that there is a clear choice between our plan, which saves and creates jobs, and the Republican plan, which will destroy California's recovery. Thank you.